Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamualaikum guys. Today we will be presenting about 4.2 transport of water and mineral salts.
Water is very important to the growth of plants because water helps to move mineral salts from the soil to the stems and leaves. Other than that, water also helps in giving turgidity to plant cells so that the plant remain fresh. Have you ever thought of how water is moved through the xylem to the plant stems, which can reach up to hundreds of meters high? Yeah, the water and mineral salt movement from the soil to the leaves are helped by transpirational pull, capillary action, and root pressure. Transpirational pull produced when water that is evaporated from the stoma pulls water from the leaves. Next, capillary action. Capillary action is produced from adhesion force and cohesion force of water molecules which move water upwards in the stem against gravity. Last, root pressure. Root pressure moves water from the soil into the xylem vessels of the root via osmosis. How does water move from the soil to the xylem vessel? Let's look at this diagram. This diagram shows that water movement from the soil to the xylem vessel. The water potential in the root hair cells is lower compared to water in the soil. This is because the mineral ions are actively pumped by the root hair cells into the vacuole, causing the cell sap of the root hair to have low water potential compared to the soil. Next, water from the soil diffuses into the root hair cells and epidermal cells via osmosis. The high water potential in the root hair cells causes the water to diffuse from the root hair cells into the cortex via osmosis. This condition causes osmosis to continuously occur throughout the cortex, endodermis, and pericycle layers. This causes root pressure to push water into the xylem vessels of the root and then into the xylem vessels of the stem.
How does water move in the xylem vessels? For tall plants, root pressure cannot transport water to the leaves, especially the shoots. Therefore, the movement of water molecule in the xylem vessel is also helped by the capillary action of xylem produced by adhesion and cohesion forces and also transpirational pull. Adhesion and cohesion forces produce a pulling force which continuously moves water in the xylem vessel. For better understanding, a diagram is shown. The diagram shows the water movement in the xylem vessels of stem. When transpiration process happens, water diffuses out as water vapor from the spaces between the cells to the surroundings through opened stoma. Spongy mesophyll cells lose water and they have low water potential towards adjacent cells. Water molecules diffuse from neighboring cells via spongy mesophyll cells by osmosis. This movement produces a force called transpirational pull that pulls water molecules in the xylem vessel of the leaves to the outside of the leaves. This diagram shows the water movement in the xylem vessel of the leaves. Bioexploration, water movement in xylem vessel of stem and leaf. Water movement from the root cells to the xylem happens in two ways. First, simplest pathway. Water moves through cytoplasma and plasmodesmata. Apoplast pathway. Water moves through the spaces between cellulose fibers at the cell wall. Because the cell walls in the endodermis layer have casparin strips which are not permeable to water, water cannot move through the apoplast pathway but through simplest pathway. Glutation in plants. Guttation is a secretion of water droplets through a special structure at the end of the leaf veins without involving the stomata caused by a high root pressure. Guttation occurs when the root pressure and the rate of transpiration is low. The condition usually occurs at night and early morning when the air humidity is high and the surrounding temperature is low. The root pressure formed pushes water to the leaves and stems of the plant. Comparison between guttation and transpiration. The similarities between them, both processes occur through the leaf. Next, both processes cause permanent water loss from the plant. Comparison between guttation and transpiration. Guttation happens at night and early morning, while transpiration happens on hot and windy days. Guttation happens in herbaceous plants, but transpiration happens in all plants. The water in guttation is released in the form of water droplets, while the other one is released through stomata in transpiration. In guttation, water is released through a special structure at the end of the leaf veins, while in transpiration is controlled by the stomata opening and closing. Guttation releases water that is rich in mineral, whereas the transpiration releases pure water. The condition of plants that do not undergo transpiration and guttation. Facts towards plants that do not undergo guttation. Without guttation, effective root pressure cannot be maintained. Therefore, water absorption by root hair cells is disrupted in a surrounding with high relative humidity. Without guttation, plant waste substances cannot be eliminated. If guttation does not occur, the leaf vein pressure becomes high and causes the leaf vein to burst. This leads to the leaves being exposed to pathogen and eventually fall. Effects towards plants that do not undergo transpiration. Without transpiration, optimum temperature of plants cannot be maintained. Increase in temperature and denature enzymes and disrupt biochemical processes such as photosynthesis and respiration. Next, without transpiration, mineral ions such as potassium ions cannot be transported from the roots to the leaves for photosynthesis. Without transpiration, water transport throughout the plant will be disrupted and causing the plants to wilt. Plants can die in the long run.